Good evening, Mr. Juan. Can you hear me? Good evening, Mr. Nas and Ms. Fabio. Mr. Juan, can you hear me? Yeah. Let's close the door. So, can you close the door? Right. Since it is the time, let's begin now. Hopefully, the others will join slowly. So, everyone, please say 3 times. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Very good evening to everyone. Nice to see you once again in person. So, time flew, and so I missed you for 4 weeks. And then I had a good trip in Sri Lanka. And then after that, now again, I'm back here to serve you with Dharma. Right? So, so everybody, all of you know that why I went to Sri Lanka, because of my sister's passing away. So she passed away. So 9 years ago already. So we had the 9th year death anniversary ceremony at our house. Right. Every year, you had to excuse me during this period. I leave United States every year, annually, during this period of time. I leave on the last week of January and come back in the mid of the February, right? So it was same. Somehow, thank you for joining online. So all of you joined online, and then all the teachings. If you couldn't join the teachings online, the recordings are they are out in the YouTube channel. So Bandi Chandimi YouTube channel. So you can go to those recordings and listen and take down notes, right? So then we were talking about, we were learning about so many things, and at the same time, we shifted from the first step of breathing meditation to the second step of breathing meditation, right? So during the first step, we just kept on observing the bare breath, normal breath, which was coming in and going out. But during the second step, so I will describe it again because I don't know whether there are so new students out there. So so during the first step, I asked you to observe the breath which is coming in and going out, right? So you were asked just to observe up to the point where the breath goes and touches. That means the end of your nostrils, right? So up to the end of your nostrils, you were asked to observe the movement of your breath, right? When it is coming in, you are supposed to observe the breath, and when it touches the end of your nostril, you were kindly requested to let it go inside, and you were asked to wait patiently until it comes back. When it comes back, so you were kindly requested to observe it after touching. Right. Right. So please come. So so you were asked to observe, continuously observe the outgoing breath, right? So after touching that area, the end of your nostrils, you were kindly requested to observe its movement outside, right? Until it leaves. So outside, you were asked to observe the breath. That was the first step. And then after that, we started observing. Then the old students who joined since January, they were asked to narrow down their attention, right? So instead of observing on this general breath, so so that means this whole process of so incoming breath and outgoing breath. So during the second step, I kindly asked all students to narrow down your attention and observe the breath. So observe the touch of the breath within the area below the nostrils and above the upper lip. Below the nostrils and above the upper lip, right? Within this area. So you were kindly requested to observe the touch of the breath. When earlier you were observing the breath which is coming in and going out, right? Through the nostril. But during the second step, so we narrowed down our attention to sharpen our mind, to, to deepen our calmness, and to deepen our attention, to deepen our attention. So you were kindly requested to narrow down your attention. So and so keep it, right? Pay your attention. I sincerely ask you to pay your attention, narrow down your attention to the area below the nostrils and above the upper lip, right? When the breath comes and touches, so you were asked to observe and understand that right now the breath is coming in. It is touching this area, this triangular area. When it is going out, so you were again asked to observe the touch of the breath. When it is going out, again, what happens is the breath will touch this particular area before it goes out, right? In case if you cannot feel that touch of the breath, then even though if you are an old student, I kindly request to move back, to switch back to the first step. And please work on the first step for some time. If your concentration is good, if you could concentrate well, then switch again back to the second step, right? So that is only if you cannot concentrate, if you cannot concentrate on the touch of the breath within this triangular area, right? Because when it comes to observing the touch of the breath, so it is a deeper, advanced technique, right? Advanced step than the first one. Then focusing on the bare normal breath, process of breath, right? Therefore, if you cannot focus, if you cannot feel the touch of the breath within this triangular area, what you have to do is switch back to the first step and please keep on practicing the first one, right? What is the first one? Observing the breath up to the end of your nostril, right? Incoming breath, outgoing breath. You were asked to observe the process of your breath up to the end of your nostrils, right? So please switch back to that one. And later on, we'll on March. So at the end of March, we'll switch to the third step of breathing meditation. But somehow, even during that time, if you couldn't concentrate well, always make sure to switch back to the first step and work on that, right? So even during this second step, if you cannot concentrate well, since because of its shuttleness, right? Because of its advanced nature, right? Then please switch back to the first step and keep practicing that one. Okay, right? So somehow what matters the most is your concentration. The advancement, your development of your inner calmness, inner peace, inner sensitivity, and patience. So all those qualities should grow little by little by little by little, right? So that's what we have to do. So let's keep on developing that. And this is as I always mention, this is just like growing a tree. It's just like growing a tree. Nobody can plant a small plant a seed and have a big tree during the next day, right? So you can scold and you can threaten the seed, but seed will gradually grow, right? So we have to let that seed to grow, right, Mr. Elliot? So if not, so that is the nature. If not, Mr. Tim, we will be tired, but nothing else will happen, right? So therefore, what we should do is we have to let that seed grow. Our job is just to put manure, that means fertilizer on time. We have to water it on time, and we have to plant it at the place where there is enough, where it can absorb the sun rays, right? And then those are things that we can do. So meditators should be the same. Meditators, meditation should be the same. So you have to pay attention and work hard. We have to pay attention and work hard. And we have to leave the rest to the nature. Little by little, those qualities will grow. Patience, it will grow, right? And then inner calmness, it will grow. Inner happiness, it will grow. Inner peace, it will grow. But when they are growing, so you should not be excited. I mean, you should not think that whenever you feel some sort of calmness, some sort of peace, some sort of happiness, you should not think that it is the ultimate. Right? Then again, you get attached to it. Since you are practicing well, you have to think like this. Since I am practicing well, now I have this calmness. Whenever I stop practicing well, this will go away. This inner happiness, it will go away. So therefore, I will not get attached to this. This is not mine. If you, if I feel calm, I feel calm. That's it. Let me feel calm. If I feel if I feel inner happiness, let me feel it. So don't make it something which you control. Let it arise. Let it grow. Right? If you get excited just by a very small experience, then so you won't that contentment in that small thing. So when you try to control it and make it something which belongs to you, then you will lose a greater advancement and a greater development in the practice. So therefore, be a good farmer. Let the tree grow. Do what you do, right? So little by whenever, whenever you feel deep, whenever you start to feel deeper inner happiness and inner peace, then you become very excited. You think, oh, I'm so successful, right? This is what I was looking for, right? Now, said people might think, oh, I have become enlightened. No, it's not like that. So this is just the beginning. So let it grow. What you have to do is you have to put manure, fertilizer, you have to water it, and you have to let it grow. Right? Say, always think, since I am doing the practice correctly, understanding it properly, now I am feeling this. Whatever I feel, whatever the peace that I feel, whatever the inner happiness that I feel, whatever the concentration that I experience, all those things have arisen because of my proper practice. Whenever my practice goes away, these will go away. So they don't belong to me. They only belong to the nature. They have arisen because I am doing the practice well. So let me keep on doing the practice. If they stay, let them stay. If you go, if they go, let them go. I will do my part. Let the nature do its part. Got it? Like that, very calmly, very patiently, very ardently, with a very diligent mind. Please keep on practicing. Keep on practicing. So this is a very non-sectarian, pure meditation technique. If you do the practice in the right way, then you are bound to get enormous good results. So please work very diligently, very ardently. So before we start, once again, I want to wish that may you feel at least a little peace and little happiness because of this session, right? So throughout the last weeks, um, uh, last 3 weeks, I was teaching you about uh, the ways. I mean, um, about the ways how a meditator should shape that person's life, so that that person would have a good good social life, which can help that person to have a good meditation practice. So last so 3 weeks ago, I taught you about the responsibilities, duties of a husband towards a wife. Then so 2 weeks ago, I taught you about the duties of a wife towards a husband. Hope you were there. Then after that, I taught you. Uh, so so we did that session on a Thursday because I had to go for a. So I'm sorry, certain meditators didn't get the email. I think so. The and I noted it on the schedule too, on the paper that I gave you. So somehow they missed it. You can go to YouTube and watch it. Yes. So I told you about the duties of a wife towards the husband, and then I told you about duties of parents towards the children. And today I'm going to teach you in brief, because we don't have a lot of time. In brief, I'm going to teach you about the duties of children towards the parents. Right? So please write them down and please be fast. So take your notebook and write them down before we start our silent meditation time. So uh, all these social relationships and responsibilities, they are very important. So that's why Buddha taught these things. So when we fulfill these duties towards each other, it creates a very good family, a very good social relationship. So between individuals, right? Then, especially inside the family, when parents do their duties towards children well, and when the children do their duties, fulfill their duties towards the parents, then it creates harmony inside the family. Then, because of that harmony, because of that harmony, the meditator gain the ability to maintain the peace of mind. If the family background is not stable, right, then what happens is you won't have enough peace of mind. Then, especially beginners, they won't be able to advance in the meditation practice, because whenever they start, whenever they sit for meditation, what comes inside is the problems inside the family, and then they cannot meditate. Instead of focusing on the breath during the meditation time, they think about all those family matters, right? So uh, advanced students, they will do their best and they'll be able to disintegrate, but new students specifically, so they will struggle. So good to practice these things, right? So we have to understand. So for the children, in the children's life, the most important two people are their parents, right? Therefore, Buddha told that the parents are the eastern direction of the children. Do you know the east? That's where the sun rises. Just like that, the life rises from the parents. That's why. So parents were compared to the eastern direction or direction. You can, so uh, British English or American English, you can use any of them. So eastern direction. So once Buddha told, Mata Pitu Upattanang Etam Mangalamuttam. Taking care of the parents by children, it's a blessing for them. Right? So, and once Buddha told that there are three children, according to Buddha, there are three children in the world. One is Avajata, so then second one is Anujata, and third one is Atijata. Avajata means, Ava means low, right? Lower children, so equal children and higher children. Right? So lower born, equal born, and higher born. That means those children who have lower qualities than the parents, they are called as so avajata. And then the children who have equal qualities, like so compared to the parents, they are called as anujata. And the children who have higher qualities than the parents, they are called as atijat, right? So it's higher born. Would always asked us, so emphasize and instructed to become children who are atijatas, higher born, right? We have, so that's what the expectation of parents too, right? So then we have to understand that parents give four things unconditionally towards the children. Number one, all of you know, all students know about this. Number one is they have unlimited loving kindness towards the children. They have unlimited compassion towards the children. They have unlimited sympathetic joy towards the children. They have unlimited equanimity towards the children. So I'm not going to describe it deeper because there's not time. So once again, unlimited loving kindness, unlimited compassion, unlimited sympathetic joy, and unlimited equanimity, balance of mind towards the children. So that's why there is no one in the world just like the parents for the children. Right? That's why they are holy for the children. Right? So understanding this, the children have to behave, fulfill 5 duties towards the parents. Number one is, so when they are incapable, right? When they are incapable, so the children should try their best. So according to their giving their best, they have to take care of the parents, all parents. That's number one. Then number two, right? Number one is taking care of the parents when they are so old, right? Then number two is fulfilling the needs of the parents. So with clear observation, right? We have to check what are the needs of the parents. So again, that is also when they are incapable, right? And then we have to fulfill their needs. So there are two kinds of needs. One is the material needs, and then the other one is the spiritual needs. Let's say your material needs. All of you know there are 4 material needs: food, then clothing, residence, and residence and medicine. Very nice. So these are the 4 things. So I'm not going to describe it long. Don't want to make it longer. Just briefly, okay? And then spiritually, if they are doing anything wrong in a way that they don't get hurt with loving words, we should try our best to change them, right? And then if they are not practicing spiritual practices according to the way how we can, we should try to influence them, right? If they are not meditating, we can ask them to meditate. If they are not, so so there are various kinds of spiritual practices that they do, right? So traditionally, so we can ask them to do those things, right? So, and if they need anything to do those things, we can help. And then number three is, so there are certain wholesome, meaningful traditions and customs in families, right? There are wholesome traditions and customs in families. Even when they are, not only while they are living, even after they have passed away, we have to maintain those meaningful, wholesome customs. But we should not, we should not uh, engage in unwholesome, meaningless customs, right? So, but all kinds of traditional, so family related, meaningful customs and traditions should be followed, right? So sometimes there may be uh, so uh, harmless, at the same time meaningless customs, right? So there'll be certain customs you don't see any meaning. So for an example, so it is not harmless, it doesn't do any bad, but there are certain customs that certain families do. So so in the West we don't have it that much, but so there are certain people who come from our countries. They have so many such kind of customs. You can practice them, right? So we have people from Sri Lanka, India, Bangladesh, and Nepal. So and then Vietnam and China. So then you can practice those ones which are not harmful. So sometimes you won't see any meaning, but it unites the family. If you go against that, sometimes it creates fights, right? So unity of the family is very important. So therefore, you can engage in those things too. And somehow maintaining such kind of good traditions. And then number four, preserving and developing the um the properties or things that the parents give you instead of destroying them, right? For an, let it be a small thing or let it be a big thing that parents gave you. So you have to preserve them and you have to develop them instead of destroying them. Sometimes I have seen certain parents, they took a lot of efforts to build a very good family business, right? But the children, when they get it, when they when there are bad heirs for those businesses, they completely destroy it. So so instead, the children should preserve those things, and then they have to develop it, and later on they have to give it back to their children to run it well. So then number five, when the parents pass away, so final duty is when they passed away. When the parents passed away, we have to do good actions in memory of them. Whatever the positive energy that we get, we have to share it with them. This is the fifth duty of children towards the parents. So you don't forget all kinds of great things that they did. So instead, so we have to think of so their great qualities, the great dedications that they had towards you, and then we have to share merits. So share merits with them when they passed away. Okay, so these are the five duties, right, of children towards the parents, according to Buddha. Okay, when you practice these things, then parents become happy about it, and then it creates harmony between the parents and the children, right? So please do like that. In the next week, I will teach you several other duties. Mainly, now you know the qualities that you have to practice between a couple, like mainly husband and wife. So husband towards the wife, and wife towards the husband, and parents towards children, and children towards the parents. If you practice this, then you can have a very good family environment. It will help you to maintain the peace of mind, and that peace of mind will help you to concentrate well in meditation, and that concentration will help you to develop wisdom, and that wisdom will help you to understand the reality, the real truth about the world, the non-sectarian universal truth, and that will lead to all of you towards the ultimate peace, ultimate happiness, Nibbana. Right? With those thoughts, so let's get ready to start today's silent meditation. Everyone, please keep your back straight, neck straight, and head straight. Please keep your right palm on your left palm. And please calm down completely. First, I will pay respect and gratitude towards Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. And after that, let's start today's silent meditation. Please concentrate. Namo tase bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhase. Namo tase bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhase. Namo tase bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhase. Itimiso bhagava arahang samma sambuddho Vijjācarane sampanno sungato lokavido Anuttaro purisa dhamma sarati Sattva deva manusanang buddho bhagavati Swakato bhagavata dhammo Sangdittiko akaliko Ehi pasiko opanaiko Macatang veditammo Vinyuhiti Sopanipangno bhagavato savaka sangho Ujupanimangno bhagavato savaka sangho Nyaya patipangno bhagavato savaka sangho Samiti panipangno bhagavato savaka sangho Yadinang chattari purisa yugani Ate purisa puggalam Ese bhagavato savaka sangho Ahuneyo pahuneyo Dakineyo anjali karaniyo Anutterang punyaketang lokasati. Sadhu, sadhu, Satu. With a very calm mind, with a very quiet mind, with an alert, very attentive mind, with a very patient, very diligent mind. Everyone, please start your meditation. Please pay your entire attention towards your breath. When it is coming in, please be fully aware. When it is going out, please be fully aware. If it is long, if it is short, if it is gross, if it is soft, let it be so. Keep on being fully aware about incoming breath and outgoing breath. That is for the new students. All students, please keep practicing the second step. Please keep observing the touch of the breath within this triangular area below the nostrils and above the upper lip. Whatever the meditation step that you are practicing right now, that you are going to practice right now, may your meditation be very, very successful. Very, very successful. Everyone, please start your meditation right now. Now, if your legs are hurting, you can change your posture, but please keep your eyes closed. We are going to practice loving kindness meditation in brief. Loving kindness meditation in brief. Everyone, please concentrate. First, let's share our loving kindness with ourselves, thinking, may I be well. May I be happy. May I be peaceful. May I be very peaceful. Please spread your loving kindness towards yourself first. Now, please spread your entire loving kindness towards your dear parents, teachers, relatives, and friends. May my dear mother, may my dear father, may my dear teachers, relatives, and friends be well, be happy, be peaceful. May they be very peaceful. Please spread your loving kindness towards your parents, teachers, relatives, and friends. Now, let's spread our entire loving kindness towards the neutral people. The people who are not our friends, at the same time, the people who are not our enemies, the people in the middle. Let's think about them and spread our loving kindness towards them. May all the neutral people be well, be happy, be peaceful. May they be very peaceful. Please spread your sincere loving kindness towards the neutral people. Neutral people. Now, let's spread our loving kindness towards the enemies, towards the people that you don't like, or the people who pretend to be liking you while who don't actually like you from their inside. So let's think about all those enemies and let's spread a sincere loving kindness towards them. May my enemies also be well. May my enemies also be happy. May my enemies also be peaceful. May they be very peaceful. Please spread your loving kindness towards the enemies. The enemies. Now, let's spread our loving kindness towards all the beings in the world. Human beings, animals, birds, reptiles, all kinds of other visible and invisible beings. Please think about all the beings in the universe and please spread your sincere, honest, loving kindness towards them. May all beings be well. May all beings be happy. May all beings be peaceful. May they be very peaceful. Please spread your loving kindness towards all the beings in the world. All the beings in the world. Bhavato sampe mangalang rakantu sampe devatam samme buddhanubhavi samme dhammanubhavi samme sanghanubhavi sada sutti bhavantu te. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Everyone, calmly, please open your eyes. Let your whole body to relax from top to bottom, bottom to top. Now please join your palms together and say 3 times, Sadhu, Sadhu, Sadhu. Very nice. Dear Dhamma friends, hope all of you keep practicing every day. As I mentioned, at least 10 minutes in the morning and 10 minutes at night. If there are brothers or family members or such kind of people, sisters or such kind of people are joining, they can have group sittings at home, right? Parnika, do you have group sittings at home? Right, just kidding. Right. So group sitting means together we sit and meditate for 10 minutes, right? So that's what it means, right? Then, without taking much time, today I'm going to describe you about the next enemy of meditation in life, right? So what I want before that, what I want to say, please maintain that practice every day. So even last time also I told you. So when I was describing about the ways how to get rid of laziness, so I taught you so during the first technique, 3 to 3 technique. So I requested you not to discontinue something more than 2 days. Accidentally, sometimes you won't be able to do. You will have to miss one day. Do your best to compensate. If you couldn't, that's fine. But don't discontinue anything more than 2 days, right? So if then what happens is, so the cycle, so it breaks, right? It will start showing whole cracks. Okay, so therefore, if you want to maintain some kind of wholesome habit, so for a long period of time, we should not break it. So we should not discontinue it more than 2 days. More than 2 days. So doing to continue good habits, we have to take a lot of efforts. But to continue bad habits, people don't need that much effort. They happen automatically, right? So this is all about good habits. It's hard. So please put effort until it becomes a good. Until you get used to do it, right? So I already taught you about 3 enemies of meditation, right? In literary terms, we call them hindrances, right? Hindrances. And then in Pali, we call them nivaranas, nivaranas. So somehow, basically, they are the enemies of meditation and at the same time enemies of life too, right? So we learned about 3 of them, right? Now, when those 3 enemies come, you can easily recognize, right, Ms. Fong, Mr. Tim, right? So let me ask Mr. Howard first. Mr. Howard, who is the first one? Mr. Howard, are you there? right. And so that's fine. So then let's go to Miss Fong. So who is the first enemy? All right. Then Mr. Tim. Addiction to sensual pleasure. Right. So addiction to sensual pleasure. Sensual pleasure is just like an so eczema, right? When you have an eczema, what do you want? You always want to scratch that one until you scratch. So it's nice, but when it starts bleeding and the eczema becomes an ulcer, you suffer a lot. Addiction to sensual pleasure is just like that. So uh, so addiction to sensual pleasure is just like biting of a bone. So a dog bites a bone. So bites a bone uh, to find flesh, but can the dog find flesh by biting a bone? No, we cannot. So yes, there are sensual pleasures in the world. When we get addicted, it will become like that, right? So therefore, we understanding that we have to overcome the first enemy, and I already taught you the methods and everything. This is not the time to describe everything. If you want to, if you were not here, if you couldn't attend, then please watch it on YouTube, and then you will find all the details, how to control and how to withstand against the first enemy, right? And then we learned about the second enemy. Sri Ashwarya, aversion is the second enemy. Then third one is laziness, right? That's number 3. So, Ms. Daniel, Ms. Divya, we are going to learn the fourth enemy. Ms. Chand, can you remember the fourth one? Wandering mind. Very nice. Wandering mind. So, wandering mind in Pali, wandering mind is the fourth enemy of meditation and life too. Not only meditation, in our lives too. So, in Pali, Buddha describes this with 2 words. Uddacha, Kukkucha. Wandering nature of the mind is described with 2 words. Uddacha and Kukkucha. Uddacha means restlessness. Uddacha means restlessness. So Kukkucha means regret or worry. Right? Regret or worry. So Uddacha Kukkucha, wandering nature of the mind. So when we have both these things, so we cannot concentrate our mind, we cannot focus on something to do, right? For an example, when you go to a pond, if a wind is blowing, can we see clearly our face, our reflection on the water? We cannot. This is the same. When these 2 winds are blowing, we cannot see us. We cannot focus on us, right? So during the practice, because they overcome us. So when this enemy catches us, so even though these are so described in two words, so they are the same nature which belongs to the past and which belongs to the future. One arises because of the past, one arises because of the future. Right? One one is so the remorse that we develop because of the past. One is the fear. One arises because of the fear towards the future. Okay. So when these we have these two, it is just like so we become just like a slave of someone. When you are a slave of someone, what happens to you? You cannot move, right? You have to go, you have to follow the orders of your master, right? When you become a slave, you have you have to follow the orders of your master. Just like that, when this nature, this wandering mind is there, so you cannot do anything. So so um, you roam around, right, without being able to focus on one thing, right? So you get swayed away. So that is the way. You get swayed away with various kinds of thoughts, right? Right. So first nature is, so as I mentioned, uddacha. Uddacha means so restlessness. So I don't know whether you might have encountered this nature in life. So there are certain occasions, because of certain things, the mind becomes very restless. You start to think continuously about something, right? Continuously about something with fear, right? So, um, so this fear arises because of two things. One thing is, so so you wish something to happen in a particular way, but you are not sure whether it will happen it that way. And at the same time, so uh, so then so you don't want something to happen in something to don't happen, but so so you have fear that it might happen, right? So then because of that, so the mind becomes restless, right? The mind becomes restless, so that fear overpowers the mind, right? Then such kind of people, when you have the restlessness of the mind, you cannot sleep well, right? So you don't feel energy. You don't feel energy inside. You don't feel, you don't get motivation to do things, right? So that person lives just like a defeated person from a competition, right? So then sometimes if this nature continues, so if that person if that person couldn't come out of that nature sooner, that can lead to very tragic situations, right? So they might even harm their own lives too, right? So so, when this nature comes to someone, right? So comes to someone, so it doesn't matter whether that person is a rich person or a poor person or anything. They don't see the future beyond some point. Can you understand? For an example, somebody loses someone in life. That person who was very dear to that person, right? Then that person won't say anything beyond that point. So then, because of that strong restlessness, that person won't see any meaning in life. Then they take very unfortunate decisions. This happens because of the restlessness of mind. When it goes, we call it various names, but so Uddacha is a very deep nature. So we call it stress, we call it depression, and we call such kind of names. But it's a very deep nature. So inside the mind. So whenever we think about things, we have gaps. We take rest. In such kind of people's minds, they lose the rest. That's why we call it restlessness. No more rest. Right? So sometimes when certain people have this nature, they feel like their head is spinning, head is about to burst off, right? So they feel like that. So, uh, then this restlessness arises due to two factors. So thinking what to do next, and then so thinking what not to do next, right? Because of these two things. And also this arises when people expect things faster, right? So when someone wants something to happen or gain something very fast, right? So, and at the same time, when someone think negatively, thinking, oh, I cannot gain this particular thing, right? So when we have such kind of thoughts, restlessness, it develops. And that if it stays for a long time, it will become very harmful. So what is the solution? Now, solution. When you have this nature inside the mind, you have to let yourself know, I'm a human being. I'm doing the perfect thing that I can do. What will happen, it will happen. What won't happen, that won't happen. I will do my best. That's it. I'll do my best and I will leave the rest to the nature. Right? So if it is a if it is a situation of if let's say you lose a loved one, right? At such times you have to think, so in this world, this is the nature of impermanence. It is hard because I have the bondage towards this person, but impermanence continues. What can I do? So, uh, so I have to be grateful towards all the good qualities that this person had throughout this person's life. So I will do good actions for this person in the future. So other than that, there is nothing I can do. I have to accept this situation. Saying so, you have to control yourself, and you should not let the restlessness to overpower you. And at the same time, so you can be so whenever the restlessness is arising inside your mind, so you can focus on the touch of your breath. So when the breath comes and touches here, so please focus on that. At that time too, you will be able to gather yourself together. If not, if the restlessness is rising, start walking, right? start walking back and forth consciously, focusing on your legs. Basically, walking meditation, right? And then another thing that you can do is so for be aware about the thoughts and the feelings that you are experiencing, and think these feelings, these thoughts, they will also pass away. They will also pass away. They won't ever last, right? So anything needs time, little by little. Even though things are difficult, so they are bound to pass. Time solves everything. So we have seen people who say, "Oh, don't want to live anymore because this happened in my life." But after 6 months of counseling, we ask, "How about now? Now everything is fine." So time solves everything. So yeah, then we have to hang on, right? So therefore, we can for now. So you can use those things. There are more. I will teach them later on. Since I have to describe the other one, I will limit the solutions up to those few practices, and then kukucha. Kukucha means regret. This happens because of the past. So kukucha or regret or worry arises because of two things. Number one, because of the things that you did. Right. Number two, because of the things that you couldn't do. Right. So these are two things. So certain people, we have dreams. Not only human beings, all the beings have dreams. Even the ant has its own dreams. But all the dreams won't come true. Right? So certain dreams get shattered. But it's a part of life. We have to understand. If not, regret will overpower. Right? So certain people do wrong things in the past, and they keep on remembering about that again and again and again. Let me tell you a small incident which happened in Australia. I think all students might remember when I say this one, when I describe this one. Uh, in Australia, so several decades ago, two 4-year-old children were playing close to a pool, right? Parents were not observing them, both the boys, they were playing with each other. Because of some factor, because of some incident, one boy got angry. And that boy pushed the other boy to the pond. But he didn't know that the other boy cannot swim. The most unfortunate thing happened. So that boy passed away due to sinking. Then, uh, so then even the so everybody were very sad, and then so gradually, even the parents of the other boy, this is boy, so they also forgave this boy, but there was someone who couldn't forgive this very boy. Yeah, he couldn't forgive himself. Whenever he started realizing about the thing that he did, when he kept growing, he was regretting all the time. He was full of remorse. So At the beginning, according to the story, so according to the way how Ajahn Brahm related, so at the beginning he was studying well, but gradually, when this thought started overpowering him, so he uh, couldn't study anymore. He dropped out from high school and he lived his life, even though he could study and do many things in life. So he just kept on taking drugs and wandering on the street. One day, somehow, this young man got the opportunity to meet Ajahn Brahm. Ajahn Brahm is an Australian monk, famous Australian Bante who lives in Australia. So he told this young man, past is past, it is gone. It cannot be undone. Right? Future is something which has not yet come. But if you have a good present, then you will have a good future. Right? And just by doing like this, so nothing will happen. But if you become a good person who can serve the world, then you can do something for the deceased boy who passed away accidentally because of you. So when he heard this, then that boy, now that young man who was 27 years old, he got understood. He understood. Finally, in the next morning, he was wise enough to absorb that. In the next morning, when he woke up, he understood this is a new day. Then he went to school again and studied well, got graduation, and became a social worker. So that's how it is. But until 27 years, so he was living just like a dead person. Why? Because of the so deep worry, regret. Right? It's very strong. So when something bad happened in the past, no use of hanging on to that one again and again and again. You know Angulimala, so because of his teachers misguiding, this is not the time to describe the whole story, he became a mass murderer and he killed more than 900 people. But when he met the Buddha, so he did not keep worrying about his past misdeeds. Instead, he kept on ardently practicing. True, those bad memories came to him, but he fought, focusing on the present. And finally, he became an arahant and helped so many people later on to gain peace and happiness. And then Ambapali, she became a courtesan. Later on, she understood, worked hard, didn't let her past to mingle with the present. And then finally, she also became an enlightened nun. Right? So there are so many such kind of incidents. So from the Buddha's time, not only Buddha's time, even from today. Right? So whenever something bad happened in the past, don't remember about it. Whenever you did, even though it's a small thing, a small good thing that you did in the past, think about that. Okay? So past is past. You let it go. Focusing on the present. Only by making the present good, you can have good future. Right? So focus on the present. Not about something which happened in the past that you cannot change. Right? But if someone cannot do like that, then that person will sink in worry. Such kind of person won't be able to focus on life well and at the same time focus on meditation, developing meditation well. Right? So then So you have to work ardently to get rid of this this regret, right? So by focusing on the present. So whenever regret comes into your mind, you have to think, whatever happened, it happened. So I cannot change it. So what I can change is the present, because future is not yet come. So I will focus on the present. I will do the correct things right now. So so that I will have a good future, right? So thinking like that, please work ardently to get rid of regret and worry, right? Now, I will teach you in brief. So, in brief, we don't have a lot of time. In brief, I will teach you about the 8 methods of Japanese methods about to overcome overthinking. So, please write them down very fast. Number one is Kaizen. That means continuous improvement. That's number one. So, uh, sometimes when you have big tasks, mind starts to wander. You won't be able to concentrate. Wandering mind will begin to rise. At that time, to break that whole process into small parts and do complete one by one. Focus on those small steps so that gradually you'll reach the final step later on, right? So by that, we don't let the overthinking nature, wandering mind to rise. Instead, do things gradually, right? And second one is wabi sabi. That means embracing imperfection. Sometimes that's number two. That means everything won't become perfect. Even in the most perfect thing that you think, there'll be a defect. You can't have the most perfect thing in the world. So, understanding that, embrace the imperfections, but try your best. That's it. At the end, even though there are imperfections, think, I did my best. That's what matters. I did it. Right? Embrace the imperfections. When you do like that, wandering mind won't happen. You will be able to control it. Number three is shikata ganai. That means acceptance, right? So there are certain things that you have to let go. So the meaning of this very phrase is it cannot be helped. There are certain things that can't help. You don't have any solution. So you have to accept that and you have to let it go. Right? So sun rises. Even though you like or not, it rises. And it sets. Even though you like or not, it sets. What to do? Embrace and tell yourself what to do. This is how it is. Right? Number four, ichigo ichi. That means living in the moment, right? That means one time, one meeting. So even though there are so many things have piled up, focus on the thing that you have to focus right now. Right? You can't deal with everything at once. So one by one, let's move on. Number five, seated meditation. That's what we do. If all those things don't work, sit and meditate and try to calm yourself down, right? So by that way too, you can stop the wandering mind, right? So seated meditation is number five, sesen, right? So number six is Shinrin Yoga. That means forest bathing. Forest bathing. Forest bathing means so uh, spending time in nature. So um, so going to the places, going to forest, or nice places, and listening to sounds of birds and such kind of things, and then smelling the natural environment, right? So by that way, you let your whole body and mind to calm down. That's another way. Then number 7 is Hansei. Hansei means self-reflection. Self-reflection. So at the end of the day, so please reflect on your actions and thoughts at the end of the day without judgment. Learn from your experiences instead of dwelling on them. Right? Yes, I did good in this one, and this is why it went well, and I was wrong in this thing. It was so because this way I was lacking. So recognize, learn from yourself, and move on, right? Instead of judging yourself as bad person, or incapable person, or a negative person, or something like that. Number 8, so final thing, monono avari. That means appreciation of ephemeral beauty. So recognize and appreciate the transient nature of life. Everything is so continuously flowing. That's how the life is, even though you like it or not. Instead of overthinking, focus on cherishing fleeting moments and finding gratitude in the present. Be happy and be grateful that you are living right now. But even though you don't have anything else, you are very rich because you have the human life. Enjoy and keep on moving slowly. So please practice them. They will also help you to come out of wandering mind. Right. Now everyone please think. Together all of us gathered here and practice this noble non-sectarian pure meditation technique. We accumulated a lot of positive energy. By the power of all the positive energy, may all our troubles be away. May all the good things happen in our lives. Defeating all the enemies of meditation and life. May you be able to develop a very good relationship with the 4 friends of life and meditation. And doing so, eradicating negativities, developing positivities, may all of us attain real peace, real happiness, purification of mind, nibbana. Everyone, please join your palms together and concentrate. Abhivadana nichang baddha pachayinu chattaro dhamma vadanti ayuvanno sukhang malang ayurarogya sampatti sagga sampatti me vache ato nibbana sampatti iminati samijjito. May you all be well. May you all be happy. May all of you be very peaceful. Good night to everyone. See you again in the next week. Take rest. Take rest. Right. Good night, Mr. Hua. So, wait for a moment. Right. Good night, Mr. Nedu.
Good night, Banche. Thank you. Thank you so
May
much.
all the good happen.
Thank you.
Good night, Mr. Howard and Mrs. Rita.
Good night.
Good night, Mrs. Rita.
You have a good night and thank you.
Thank you so much. Mr. Adil, Mrs. Shehnaz, good night.
Good night.
Good night. May all the good happen to you. And Mrs. Shirin, good night. Good night.